Hi, I'm Kimber, and I am Bridge to Yoga. So I wanted to create this short few-minute video for those who have never practiced yoga, don't really understand what yoga is about, and don't really understand what are these tools and how do I start practicing. So I really love to cater to the very beginner. And so what yoga is and what it's about is really connecting to your body and getting familiar with what's going on inside. And maybe you can relate to this, but so many times we, and myself especially, maybe I'll be sitting down and I will be working on my computer and I will feel a cramp or a pain. And in my mind, I'm going, I don't have time for that. I need to finish this. And I kind of disassociate and disconnect from that. But what yoga does is teaches us to pay attention to all those little subtleties, all the little things that are going on inside of our body. So yes, it is a bit of exercise, but it's exercise peppered with mindfulness, promoting self-awareness. And, after a while and getting used to the centering and, developing a skill of collecting yourself and teaching yourself to shift down and be aware. And then at the end of class, we have a shavasana, which is basically just resting. It's self-care. And after getting into the routine, it becomes sort of like a ritual of self-care. And we all need that these days. So to start, I thought we'd begin with, what are all these yoga props? Why do I need a mat? What kind of mat do I need? So I've got these props behind me, and I thought I'd start with the mat. The mat is, of course, one of the basic, most essential things that we need. And the reason that we need a mat and to be perfectly honest and clear, if you don't have a mat, using a towel or a blanket or even just practicing on the carpet is fine. It's not a huge requirement. However, have you ever done something? Let's say we're coming into a wide-legged stance and I have socks on right now. And if I start to push my energy down into my feet are kind of slipping on the carpet, right? So the reason that we typically do yoga barefoot and on a mat is to give us that extra grip and give us that extra stability and more of a foundation to build on so that we feel secure in the poses that we're in. Now, there are so many kinds of mats out there. There are thick mats and thin mats and longer mats and shorter mats. So the type of mat that you need really depends on the type of yoga that you do. So if you're going to go into an asana posture-based class that's more about exercise and you're going to be building energy in the body, then what you really want is a standard yoga mat that is, I think it's 4 millimeters thick. So it's not very thick. And the reason that you want kind of a thin mat is because if you're going to be doing any balancing on the mat, if you're going to be standing on one leg or lifting one leg and trying to balance yourself, even, in kind of like a forward lunge, requires a little bit of balance in the legs. Then if you have a thick mat that's about 1 inch thick, it's going to be really hard to balance there. So the thick mats are really for restorative yoga. And restorative yoga is a wonderful experience. Talk about self-care. That's a classic, beautiful way to practice self-care. So restorative yoga is about getting your body out of stress and into a more relaxed and subtle state, right? So that thicker mat to add for relaxation, because you're probably in restorative yoga, you're going to be doing a lot of laying down, a lot of laying on your side or your belly, and you want to be comfortable in restorative yoga. Yin yoga is another one that, if you want a thicker mat, we hold the poses for longer. So yes, absolutely. Restorative yoga, thicker mats, but energy building, something that you're going to go in and do some lunges, some balancing, a thinner mat. Okay. So next we have yoga blocks, and yoga blocks are they're pretty much mostly the same size. Some are a little bit thicker, and some, I think this is about maybe 1.5 inches thick. And they come and they're used for 3 separate heights. So this is the tallest, this is the medium, and this is the lowest setting. So for example, we could use yoga blocks in a forward fold to try to bridge the distance between our fingertips and the earth or the ground. So coming into a forward fold and reaching for toes and using the block for support between your body and the ground. That's the whole purpose of it. So if I were in a low lunge and I needed a little bit of support for balance, using it on the highest setting, yoga blocks, okay? Again, they come in various sizes. You can use them for just about anything to support you and help you stay balanced in a yoga pose. And then moving on, let's move to the strap. So the strap, the yoga strap, or really any strap, this is actually not a yoga strap. A yoga strap would have the little metal hoops on the end so that you could loop it in. But I find this strap just fine, and it's just basically the same type of fabric, but it doesn't have any connections to it. But the yoga strap is used, let's say, for the arms, maybe some warm-ups and rotations and side bends. It's used just to basically stretch shoulders and arms. But the thing that the yoga mat is used most commonly for is the legs. So if you're laying down or sitting down and you're in a position that you need to go into a forward fold and lean forward, that strap on your foot is going to give you a little bit of stability in the forward fold. It's going to allow you to feel more into your body instead of coming forward and being a little uncomfortable and maybe not feeling as much of a stretch. And then, also for if I was on my back, to help lift my leg, just for added support, just like we do for the yoga blocks. And then, so the last couple of support tools is the yoga blanket. And I'm sure you've seen these around before. They always have fringe and they always have stripes, and they come in different colors. And so these yoga blankets are really great because their thinness, and folding them up, you can use them under your back while you're laying on the floor, let's say in a restorative posture. You can also use it if you have any issues with your knees, coming onto your knees into any type of posture that needs knee support. There's also, using it as a blanket in restorative, as a pillow, in case you don't have a yoga bolster. So the yoga bolster is also used in the restorative and the yin yoga classes. So again, just adding support for your body to get you into that relaxed state. So I think We've reviewed most of the tools. I'm sure, oh, the one last thing. So if you don't have yoga tools at your disposal and you're taking a class on Zoom or watching a YouTube video, what you can do, and we've already talked about, in place of the mat, you can use a towel or a blanket or even on the floor. In place of a yoga blanket, obviously you can find another thin blanket to use for support. And the bolster, use 1 or 2 pillows, stack them high and make it work for you. And the blocks, so yoga blocks, if you don't have any yoga blocks, you can actually use like thick books or even those smaller Amazon boxes that are about 2 inches thick. And I don't know, about a foot long. So yeah, those are some options. And I guess what I'll leave you with is Bridge to Yoga offers a basic yoga class. And this happens every Monday evening around 7 o'clock. And it lasts for about 45 minutes or so. And it's catered to people who don't have a lot of experience with yoga. So just learning how to move your body, learning kind of the routine of a yoga class and what to expect. So I hope that this has been informative for you. I wish you the best of luck on your yoga journey. Peace and gratitude to you. Namaste.